the first 48 hours. What do you do? Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness, and we're talking in a broad spectrum variety of situations. The first 48 hours are crucial to your survival, whether it be nuclear war, which is a hot topic now, fallout, all that kind of stuff, if it is financial collapse, if it is foreign invasion, if it is just whatever, SHTF, stuff hitting the fan, things going badly, people acting badly, whatever the case may be. Now there's different actions for each though. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things in this video and some key points, what you need to think about, what you should probably do in the first 48 hours of an event. So with that said, let's talk about first one. I'm going to throw it into the category of general event, which would be like a, say, EMP, frying a lot of electronics. Maybe kind of financial collapse type thing also. But before we get started, I would like to ask you to please subscribe, hit the like button, you know that little thumbs up thing? Yeah, that thing. Ring the notification bell, and there's a difference on them. The black one, click on that one, and receive all notifications. So every time I put out a video, post a picture, community, whatever it is, you'll get a heads up. Hopefully. They don't like you and they don't like me, so sometimes you may not get all notifications. In that case, go to my page, click on the video tab, and they're all still there. That's the surefire way to receive the content. Sharing the videos is also greatly appreciated. Like I said, commenting, all those kind of things is very appreciated because it's not just about me and what I get for it. It's about reaching more people. The more regular viewers that watch these videos push the video higher in the like recommended category, whatever it may be. I don't know all the stuff. But what that does is it gets it out there for more people to see this kind of stuff. So we can bring more people on board with preparedness, which is the sole reason why I'm here. Yes, it helps me a little bit take care of my family and provide for our needs. I say a little bit. It's not much. Trust me, it's not like a full-time job. It's not even a full-time minimum wage job, nothing like that. But building more assets instead of liabilities out there. So let's get into the video. Okay, first 48 hours. What are some of the first things you need to think about when, say, it's an EMP? Okay, a lot of times we don't lose power very often, but say we lose power in the middle of the night. It's usually in the middle of the night because we have, white noise, we have background stuff. I can tell when power's out. I wake up immediately when the power goes out because those noise, it's just different. So what's the first thing I do? I'm talking to it sideways right now. I check my cell phone. Does it work? Is it on? Can I bring up YouTube? Can I bring up a web page? Because what that tells me, that eliminates the fact that it's not an EMP. Because the odds are things like cell phones would be greatly affected by an EMP. And servers that host like YouTube and other internet sites would more than likely be fried. EMPs are not an end-all be-all though. If they happen, not all electronics across the board are fried automatically. That's a misnomer, that's a myth. Your vehicles may still work, even if they're newer vehicles. It's dependent upon a lot of things I could go into for hours, topography, different things like that. There's a lot that plays into it. So don't immediately discount the use of electronics. If they're in a Faraday cage, odds are you'll have a much better chance of using them. True. But, so check. Intelligence. Ensure that you know what the situation actually is. Okay, it's not an EMP. Then I go back to sleep. Say it was. Okay, an EMP. So what would stop working? gas stations, grocery stores, stuff like that, they'd have to switch to manual. It happens. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. You ever go to a grocery store when they have like very minimal lighting because they have a generator and they're still operational but kind of in a reduced capability? Yes. So what you can do in a situation like an EMP, but this also, this is where intelligence comes into account. Does that EMP proceed a nuclear war? Does it precede an invasion? What is the climate of the situation? What is going on in the world around you? Or is it a solar flare, a coronal mass ejection that causes it? So knowing what causes it is important also. If it is a random event, or maybe even a high altitude nuclear device set off to cause an EMP, doesn't necessarily mean it's a precursor to war. It may evolve into that, but it could just be to mess with our electronics and our ability to function as a nation, to attack our critical infrastructure, those kind of things. So you could go to the store, grab last minute supplies. True. Gas station, also top off on fuel. Those might be good things you can do. But what I would prefer doing is getting everything you need, everything you can get stuffed into a operational vehicle, one that still runs, and be totally ready as you possibly can to bug out. That's one of the first things. Whether it has to do with EMP, financial collapse, foreign invasion, nuclear war, anything. I say, what I do, the first thing I want to do is I want to get my truck, 1-ton long bed truck. I can fit a lot of stuff in the back with a camper shell on it. Get that loaded up to the max. Everything I can possibly get in there, ready for us to just run out the door, jump in the truck, and take off. Because what that does, it gives me options. It gives me options on the ability to do that. If the situation evolves into my needing to do that, to get out. So that's a good thing to do. Rounding up things like your important papers, defensive tools, grabbing your gear, make sure this stuff is ready and available. Maybe start wearing a reduced level of it. And I'll tell you one thing right now. I'm wearing all this stuff right now because when I finish this video, I will be filming my Patreon video about high threat loadout. This is my high threat loadout. And I will be showing you guys, well, on Patreon, I will be talking about discussing the kit, the setup, the pack, the carrier, everything. I'm going to be discussing on Patreon. Links in the description below. It's $1 a month, hundreds of videos, and you can see exclusive content like this. It's a topic that is more difficult to talk about here on this platform due to, getting, you know what I'm talking about. So it's going to be a good video. So check it out. Like I said, it's $1 a month. Seriously, it is worth it. I know some people are, they don't like the whole Patreon thing. I get it. I would keep it going just for the free speech aspect of it, even if it didn't cost, even if I didn't make any money from it. I'll put it that way, because it's viable. It's important to me to be able to speak my mind and put out the content that I do there. Anyway, back to the video. I just wanted to explain this. But you may want to get this kind of stuff ready. Have it standing by. Due to the situation, though, obviously. And I obviously can't go into super detail on each and every single one of these situations because of time. And you don't want to watch a 10-hour long video. And the fact that I cannot speak to every single one of you in your AO, in your particular situation exactly. I can speak from my experience in my situation in my area. That's about it. And I'm in a heavily wooded rural area. So I'm pretty far from threats. Yes, I'm in Western Washington, but it would take Seattleites a long time to get here. People from Olympia, a long time to get here. Tacoma, took quite a while to get here. So you may be surrounded by higher threats. That's one thing you got to think about. One of the first things you need to think about. If you're living in a city, in an urban environment, a high population dense area, and anything happens like that, EMP, financial collapse, war, whatever, people are going to go crazy. We've seen that. We saw the rioting, the looting, the burning of our cities. We saw people rush into the grocery store with all the lines. We saw no toilet paper, all this stuff like that. We should have learned from that, right? Everybody should automatically be a prepper now because we saw it with our own eyes. We saw shortages in the United States of America for the first time in generations. So I shouldn't have to be on here preaching to you guys to become more prepared. Everybody should use the common sense that they saw over the last 2 years and already be into preparedness. But anyway, I digress. If situations like that happen, people will react adversely. They will start doing stupid things. They'll be angry. They'll be frustrated. They'll be scared. You got to keep a level head. That's one of the biggest things you can do. Stay in the game mentally. And if you're in a high threat, high population dense area, you may want to don this stuff and just start wearing it. Setting security, securing your perimeter based on the situation. Here where I am, I wouldn't have to necessarily secure my perimeter right off the bat. Also though, what I would do is I would immediately contact my groups, my mags. I would initiate communications plans. That's one thing. Get in contact with your people immediately. Find out where they are, what the plan is, which you should already have hammered out before the event. You should have that hammered out now. If you don't, please do it. Even if you don't have a mag, due to the situation, you may end up with a mag really quickly. Here, the sun is about to get on the camera, so let me turn it a little bit like that. There we go. People may be waking up really quickly at that point, so reach out to people that you are affiliated with, you have friendships with, family, friends, co-workers, stuff like that, and say, hey, I have these ideas, these plans kind of in place that I hashed out, weeks ago, months, a year ago, years ago, whatever, and I'm thinking about this. Also, gathering, you may be in a situation you want to gather the tribe. But yes, initiating comm plans and making sure that everybody's safe, on the same page, and ready, willing to work together with each other. So that's important. What are some other things? So a lot of this is off the cuff. I don't rehearse my videos. You probably noticed that. Because sometimes I search for stuff, I pause, anyway. Security would be important. Where I'm at, yeah, it would not be an immediate need, but it may be your immediate need. But yes, I would contact my groups. I would start the conversation, basically. That's very important. So definitely start a comm plan. Contact the people that you can contact. Get your gear ready. Be ready to bug out if you can. If you're in an urban area, that may be your first thing, is get ready to bug out and then go. Bug out. Because if you are in an urban, high population dense area in, say, an EMP, or even like a financial collapse situation, definitely a war situation, especially like if we're actually like being invaded. Likelihood of that, probably low, but let's talk about it anyway. You may want to immediately get out of the city. What are these? Very good. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt the video, but my little girl picked me some leaves and I had to quiz her on what they are because we forage and we do that kind of thing around here. So she did properly identified that as a black huckleberry. Very good, baby girl. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. All right, sorry for the distraction. Family is wonderful, and my little beauty queen is amazing. She's smart and beautiful, and compassionate, and loving. I know that was way off topic. I apologize. Back to the topic at hand. Basically, it just comes down to squaring away your stuff. And, okay, what I would like you guys to do, what I request you guys to do now is start writing out plans for each and every event. Get a notebook, give each event like 2 or 3 pages, maybe 5 pages. Write the event at the top of the page, and then brainstorm everything you can about it. Where the threats would come from, what you would do, when you would do it, how you would do it, all the things you possibly can. And then also, what things do you need to perform those actions? Vehicle, fuel, kit, defensive tools, etc. And do as many different types of events as you possibly can brainstorm. Because the more of that you have pre-positioned, even if you don't have time in an event to grab that notebook and look and see, at least you've been over it with the people that you care about. And so it's in your brain. You don't necessarily have to grab that, but you've been over it, so you at least know the basics of what it takes. This is part of being in the mental game. The mental game is very important. Don't lose your mind. Don't run around like with a chicken with your head cut off. Okay? You have to stay cool, calm, and collected at all times. You can't let the situation overwhelm you. You have to react reasonably, level-headed, and appropriately. You don't want to put yourself in a situation that could place you in more danger than what you already are. So staying put, bugging in, maybe the situation would be better for you, maybe bugging out would. Thank you. What is that?
Sword fern.
Sword fern, yes, very good. Thank you. So only you can analyze that. Only you could know that. You don't want to make your situation worse. There's a lot to it. Please start writing down the scenarios. Please start thinking about immediate action, secondary action. Like, what would you do? What would you do in the first 5 minutes? What would you do in the first half hour? What would you do in the first 3 hours? What would you do in the first 6 hours, etc. Down to, say, 48-hour time frame. And have somebody else look over that with you. Because you're looking at it through one set of eyes, one brain, thinking about it from one direction. Somebody else may be able to look at that and look at it from another direction, another set of eyes, and say, oh yeah, but what about this? And you're like, oh, good point. I didn't think about that. So it's very important. There could be events in our lives that are a timely response is needed. So take it seriously, prepare yourselves appropriately to best deal with the time frames that you may be faced with. I love you guys. I want you to be prepared. I want you to thrive, not to survive. And remember, we prep out of peace of mind, not out of fear here. We do not fear. We are unafraid. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Blessings to you and yours.